Mm-hmm.
It appears that documents on demand is done. Well, we'll run off the screen.
I can put this over here.
It's up there.
Wow.
I appreciate it. I might borrow it. I'd like to call the Middleville Village Council Committee of the whole meeting to order. Rhonda, may I have roll call, please?
Mike Kramer,
Here?
Steve Baldry,
Here.
Robert Bishop,
Here.
Richard Hamilton, Mackenzie Peters, Kevin Smith, Ann Williams.
Here.
I know where Mackenzie is. I do not know where Richard and Kevin are.
Kevin said he was going to be here. I haven't heard from Richard.
Should be in order.
I will make a motion to, what am I doing?
Yeah, you're good.
No, not dismiss. Excuse, oh my gosh. Excuse trustee or pro tem Smith, trustee Hamilton, trustee Peters.
Support.
We have a motion with support to excuse President Pro Tem Smith, trustee Peters, and trustee Hamilton. Any further discussion before we vote? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure, never mind. Do you need to?
I would
Amend it.
suggest that we swap items 8 and 6 to give Mr. Mears a little bit more
Gotcha.
time to get here.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the
Just say
amended
amended.
agenda.
Perfect.
Support.
We have a motion with support to approve the amended agenda, which consists of, after public comment would go resolution 24-15, the North Country Trail discussion, and then village project updates with Brandy Mears.
Can you clarify for that? Do you still want North Country Trail first, then the resolution?
No.
Because that's what order it's in, or are you changing both of those?
He's just switching.
Are you just moving village updates to the bottom?
Yeah, well, I was gonna,
Or
No.
after the resolution?
He's just swapping these two. So
we can do it the other way if
Resolution.
you want, that's
I don't know what
fine.
you're doing.
he's moving the resolution to,
If the North Country
After
Trail is
public
here, we
trail.
could move them up first and then do the resolution.
yeah, we can do that.
So then, we will, if it's okay with the motion E, can I amend your amended agenda? Okay. Then the amended agenda will read public comment, then North Country Trail discussion, resolution 24-15, and then village project updates. All right, we have a motion with support to approve the amended agenda. Any further discussion before we vote? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, public comment? Anybody like to speak? All right, moving on. North Country Trail.
Good evening, council. Over the last several months, it actually kind of stems back from when we originally talked about the Sheridan Road Park project. The discussion came up with the North Country Trail possibly connecting through village property. Right now, the North Country Trail, they'll be able to explain a little bit better detail than my knowledge of it. But there's part of it that actually has to cut through some streets to get over to the Crane Road portion over by the Crane Road ball fields. If we were to allow them to access our property, they have been in conversations with adjacent private property owners that would allow them to cut through our property, cut through private property owners, and then make it to connect into the Crane Road trailhead for the North Country Trail. The proposed map, I don't know if Rhonda could pull it up. That'd be perfect right there. So essentially, this is where the main DPW gate is, the drive gate is, and the cemetery fence runs all the way along this. What the proposal would be to put next to it a small man gate that would allow just hikers to get through only. And then we direct the trail users to come all along this path, right down a maintained path already, and then get right into the woods, and then access our property over to the blue line over there, which is going on to private property. Right now, DPW, we're still in the process, just kind of keep slipping lower on the priority list. This yellow section of fence we have to finish up. Once that's finished, I would be fully in support of doing this. Then our immediate facility would be closed in for safe travel. I mean, they're still probably 500 to 600 feet away from that at that point, but just to secure that facility.
How does that go into the Crane Road?
So right here, this would.
Oh, the back part
Yeah,
of it.
private property. They have an agreement, tentatively
Gotcha.
with private property owners.
So
That
then
would
the
take
other
them over
side,
to Crane Road.
Other
This
side
Crane Road right here?
No,
Further out.
No, further out.
yeah,
Further?
The,
Okay.
where the baseball diamonds are,
right.
yes.
The other side, where does that then connect? So at where your gate is,
So this,
where would that?
I'll
connect?
let them explain a little bit more when,
Gotcha.
I have Jim
Yeah.
Bronson here from
Okay.
North Country Trail and he can help out a little bit. But this gate is actually public streets. This is Sheridan Road. here.
Yeah.
So,
I-
I'm gonna let Jim come up here and give a little bit more explanation. Does anybody have any questions for me at this point?
Are there elevation issues that are causing problems with getting that fence completed or just
Time.
time?
It's time and priorities. We did have to bring in probably another 2,000 to 3,000 yards of dirt. We just transferred from one location to another. We've got that complete. Now we just gotta get some gravel base down for the parking lot and get some fence contractors in to install the fence. There was some elevation issues, but those are
They're taken
corrected.
care of.
Yeah, we took care of those over the last 9 months or so. Okay, Jim Bronson, and he'll give you,
This new route, how close does it come to the 911 tower?
so the
That's
911
the-
tower is all
yep.
the way out here.
Mode
Okay.
patch.
So if you walk this area here, you could see the DPW facilities here. Once you get back into this area,
It's all trees.
you can't see the terrain and everything. It kind of blocks your vision from seeing any of that. Okay. Jim?
Thank you. For those of you that may not be totally familiar with our North Country Trail administration, I'm a volunteer for the Chief Noonday chapter. We're part of the North Country Trail Association, and the North Country Trail is part of the National Scenic Trail System administered by the National Park Service. Our Chief Noonday chapter takes care of Berry, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun counties, or about 120 miles of the trail. We've had an association with Middleville for many years, dating back to probably the mid-1990s. And as best I can find out, it looks like we've been on the current route, which is coming out of the Middleville State Game Area down Crane Road to the Paul Henry Trail since about 2005. In 2012, Middleville became the first designated trail town in the state of Michigan. And we appreciate the support you've given us over the years. And in return, we're supposed to support your local businesses and participate in local events as much as we can. And we've tried to do that over the years. Our long-term goal for the trail is to try and get as much of it off-road as possible and get it on a natural surface pathway. So in 2022, with the help of Catherine Getty, who had a contact with the private landowner, John Rock, Mr. Rock expressed interest in working with us. And he's allowed us to mark a tentative trail from Crane Road down to the south end of his property where we need to come through your area. So the reason for our proposal is to ask you for your support for us to come across that property. Now, as you can see on the map, we would come out of the village's property to the woodlot near the public works buildings, cross the open field to Sheridan Street, and then on to Main Street. And while we actually do trade sidewalk from Crane Road for sidewalk from Main Street, what we do gain is about a mile of off-road scenic trail with natural surface pathway, which is a real benefit for us. And we also, this would allow us to bring hikers and walkers through the business district, past the restaurants and the bars and that sort of thing downtown. A little easier access for them, even though they're not too far away when they're on Paul Henry. Both of those points are key to the development of the trail for our standpoint. In terms of how we manage the trail on the village-owned land, typically we designate one or two what we call trail adopters to monitor the trail, make sure it stays open, passable, and watch for litter and that kind of thing. We also have sawyers that are trained to operate chainsaws and handle larger down trees if necessary. However, working with the village, we're flexible about how things like that get done. And if you'd prefer to handle something like that in-house, we can certainly work that out. And that's true with any of the other tasks that we may need to do with the trail. The volunteers who work on our trail are covered by the National Park Service's Volunteer in Parks program. So they're covered for liability and in case they get injured on the job. And the program also includes training for each of the tasks that they might undertake. Our Sawyer program, the guys that run the chainsaws, they have to go through regular chainsaw safety training as well as first aid training. So they're well trained to do the job that they're supposed to do. And that's a quick summary of our proposal, of why we want to do this and why we need your support. And I want to thank Alec for helping me out with this. He's been very supportive over the last year or so. If you have any questions, we'd be glad to try and answer them. I have a couple of colleagues from our chapter here, and thank you. Questions?
Yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
How does so the Crane Road part behind Bradford White's, is that going to tie into the trail at all? Like from
We
Crane
would
Road?
come directly out of the trailhead on Crane Road that exists now. That's
Yeah.
part of the game area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right where and then we'd come straight across the road into Mr. Rock's property.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what all right, perfect.
So how does the ownership lay out then? Are we getting an easement for this to maintain that property? Are you guys getting an easement for this?
We can work that out in a variety of ways. We could do something as simple as what we call a trail use agreement. We could do an easement because we certainly would like to do something permanent if possible. Oftentimes working with an organization like a village or some public organization, we might do a memorandum of understanding. It could be open-ended, it could be a set time limit, whatever, and we can do a variety of things. I probably wouldn't be heavily involved in something like that, but we have staff members at the NCTA office that can help with that kind of thing. And so we're quite flexible about that, and we can certainly talk in the future about the best way to do that. But our long-term goal is to make anything we do as permanent as possible. So.
So right now, our main goal and ask is, if the council is on board with this, the idea of this, the understanding of this, then I could work with Jim and North Country Trail to get some type of memorandum of understanding, some type of agreement in place to get in front of you at a later date. Just before we did that, we wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page and kind of asking for council direction on how we'd like to proceed.
Yeah, I use that trail all the time. So up and around the towards where the baseball field is, and certainly my first reaction would be to make it as permanent as we possibly can. I guess that's obviously up to the property owner, but would an easement make that a no frills permanent solution to that? Or would a memo of understanding or memorandum of understanding, would that be just as binding? Or
I would think any of those vehicles would be just fine. Just
I guess
as
as
long
long
as we
as-
have something that we can
Mhm.
document.
Yeah, I would, looking from a village perspective, I would think any one of those fine. I think I would like to make sure, looking out for the village interest, that we don't go anything too 100% permanent right away, simply because we still don't know what's the end result for that property that we have there,
right.
that 20 acres. What may or may not come of that in the next 2 to 15 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So just so that kind of gives us a little bit of opening to say, okay, we like this, we want to keep the trail, but instead of having it right here on this easement, we're going to bump it 200 yards north for whatever reason or something. So we don't have it locked into that exact, leave it there in that location maybe, but just gives us a little freedom if needed.
Well, if we're talking an unimproved surface right now, that easily
Yes,
moved.
yes,
so-
it's just unimproved, and that's why it's very easy versus an easement. The easement's set in stone. It's on that exact line.
I would think working towards an agreement, bring it back to us would be ideal.
And I love the idea of it being self-regulated and self-managed. I know that every time we take a step in the direction of adding more properties to our parks and trails and recreation, it's always Alec's problem, but it's nice that you have your own program, which I think makes this really appealing overall. So that's good.
We'll work-
Excuse me, in terms of an agreement, I think I'd add that we don't have anything in writing from Mr. Rock yet, though he's been on board all the way through as we've worked through this. So with, if you want to do something kind of less than
Light. Yeah,
permanent,
right.
that would help me work with him on what he might want to do as well.
That's good advice.
So yeah, we can work through that, get that in writing. And then I am going to try to actively before the end of, hopefully sooner than later, but before the end of this calendar year, get this fence up and done. That would be one of the things I'd like to get that finished before they 100% open to the public. And then we can work on getting that letter of understanding in front of you or documentation in front of you as soon as possible.
Okay, great. That'd be ideal.
Awesome.
Thank you. While I have you, since you're kind of stuck at the moment, we've been getting a lot of complaints over the renamed gypsy moth issue. Do you have volunteers that are helping with trail cleanup or organizing local volunteers to do that?
I don't think we have anything going on with Gypsy Moths. No.
I mean, it's definitely turning our pave service into a natural service.
Well, I'm afraid we can't help you with that.
That's okay.
We'll trim some brush along the trail, but I don't think we can do much about Gypsy Moths. I'm sorry.
Well, just the mess they leave, the leaves and yeah.
for sure.
No, you're aware of it. I wasn't sure if you guys had groups that were going out and taking a look at it or addressing it, or if you'd heard from your trail stewards.
No, I don't think we've heard anything about it at all.
Oh, I had somebody that was hiking north of here and they said they were using their hiking sticks to get the caterpillars that are coming down.
You're hearing the same stuff I am then.
Yeah.
They're definitely thick.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Moving on to resolution 2415.
I think you're gonna move to Brandon, right? Is that the way that what's
Well,
going
no,
on?
we were going to do that, but then we changed it again. So now we're going 786.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to amend it back the other way.
Good. I'm at the pleasure of the council.
It was a little confusing, thanks to me.
That's okay. We'll get through it.
Okay, so what you have in front of you is resolution to approve tax sharing agreement between the DDA and the township and the village. So this essentially would hold the future EMS millage, should it pass, harmless in the effect that any millage that would have been captured by the Middleville TIF will not be captured by that and will still return to the Thornapple Township for the EMS millage purposes. Questions?
Were they, and I'm maybe speaking out of ignorance here, but were they able to get that millage on the 24 ballot?
I believe it is on the ballot. It's for
I hope so. They got some.
August, right?
It's in August.
August primary, yes.
Okay. So they made it. Mr. President, I'd like to move to approve the attached resolution with the DDA and township regarding the upcoming 2024 new additional millage.
Are we approving that tonight or moving that on to the consent agenda at the next meeting? Or the regular
Preferably tonight. So this is the Middleville TIF is going in front of. Excuse me.
It's probably got to go through more channels than us.
Yes.
It's better to get
DDA and
gets on the roll
yep.
first, yeah.
Exactly.
Motion.
I'll support it.
Have a motion with support to approve Resolution 2415 regarding
It's
the
24.
upcoming
14, isn't it? Or is it 15?
It's
Is it
15.
on the agenda. 15.
Sorry, I worked on 14 today. My apologies. You're right.
To approve the attached Resolution 2415 regarding the upcoming 2024 new additional millage. Any further discussion before we vote? Hearing none, Ron, may I have a roll call, please?
Robert Bishop,
Aye.
Richard Hamilton, Mackenzie Peters, Kevin Smith,
Aye.
Ann Williams,
Aye.
Steve Baldry,
Aye.
Mike Kramer.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank
Okay,
you.
am I up next or is it somebody else?
So now it's Brandon's turn.
Okay,
Sorry, we were buying you some time, so we jumped up the agenda a little bit.
Well, thank you. Nice to be here. I do apologize for being a little late. I was all the way down in Stevensville with some concrete people down there on a park project. Pretty cool. But we got a lot of really good stuff going here. And on my way in, I did take an extra minute to stop by and take a look at Dearborn, which was top paved today. So, and it looks really nice. So, and they still have the traffic cones up there. So my road in my house was recently paved, and the mail person got up on the curb in a couple spots before it had set. So that kind of marred the finish there. I'm glad to see that no traffic has been on it, and it really, really looks nice. So we'll give it a more thorough look, but it looks like a job well done, and that road will be open very soon, I'm sure. High Street started today. So,
I saw that.
yes. So when I was in this morning, the surveyors are loading up. They're staking the water main. They got the millings out there. Dwayne's going to be the inspector on that one as well. David Mikovich was here just making sure that the limits were marked correctly and all that. So that project is underway. So that's an exciting project too. The wastewater treatment plant, we're still putting together the O&M manual, but I mean, that plant's been running like a Swiss watch, I believe. I don't think there's been any issues with that, with the DO probes and suspended solid probes have been installed. Those are working great. So, I think we'll check the chemical use is one kind of issue. There might be some recycle flows from the sludge tank that might be adding a little phosphorus in there. That'd be one thing. The DWAM, we talked about, we had all that work done on the services, the water services. So there's a report. If you need any help with that, we're here to help with that. The Paul Henry Trail, our structural engineer is working on that. There is a spreadsheet out that I have not fully QA'd and not submitted to you, but I can tell you verbally. I looked at the costs, and we're going to be in that $1.5 million total project range, I believe, with replacing those two bridges. That's up a little bit from what we'd estimated, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we could get plans prepared for that to have something shovel ready, so to speak, or grant ready for about $60,000. So on a $1.5 million project, that's not too bad. Then if it were to go to construction, there'd be about that, maybe a little bit more, depending on the level of construction engineering that was required. But in order to prepare the plans, we would need some soil borings, complete and survey soil borings, and then time to design, drafting time, engineering time for that. So that's where we are with, and I'll get something submitted to Craig for that. 3rd Street, USA Earthworks did return, and they had some punch list items to do, mostly related to on the village's end with the restoration, topsoil, things like that. They had the heated and massage, so to speak, some of the pavement to make that better. I'm not sure where they are with the schools portion of that road, of that work. But last I had seen it, they had not topped that yet. They were still working on some issues with that. Then Middleville, that's going to move forward at some point, I would imagine. So we'll have
we hope so.
we'll have a little bit of construction inspection on that, just on the portions of the utilities that are going to be with the village there. And then we had some Nathan and one of our new engineers was out today looking at the ground storage tank, the water main coming out of there, Irving Road. So we've got that we're working on as well.
We entertained a couple of meetings where there would have been a covered bridge, and then we would make that into a memorial. We batted around the idea of making that something like for Charlie, or I'm curious, I know that your initial design probably doesn't account for something like that, but,
It does.
oh, it does?
Yeah, I do recall all the conversations we had. So we're still looking at like a contact type of what I call bridge in the box. So they do come in covered options, and we could make something look a little bit more different.
Yeah, it was load rated for
Yep.
with or without. the
With or without? Okay.
Yeah, so I do.
I wasn't
mean,
sure if that was
No,
still
I
part of the.
recognize that's something that's important to the village. And,
Yeah.
and so, yeah,
Nice.
we will keep that in the design.
We're gonna not go with I-beam piers on this and.
Okay. I'll tell you, those bridges ought to be like a historical landmark, right? I mean, they are something else. And for them to be as old as they are and wooden, and even at 10% of the capacity, which is about what they have left, I mean, for the big heavy trains that were on that, back in the 20s and all that, it can carry the load, the pedestrian load it has now. We'll have like, I believe it's like a H10 or the load on coming up now. When we design those for vehicles, maintenance
Yeah, the
vehicles
new
and things
trail
like that,
standard
yeah,
for
or
bridge
H50.
traffic.
Yeah. So,
No, I'm just saying, let's go with the round piers, not the I-beam piers this time.
okay.
Let's not get 240 foot deep and realize it's the wrong pier.
Oh, you're talking about the bridge over here.
Whoops.
Those engineers aren't with us anymore, so we'll make sure we get the right beers. And I wasn't, I'm always a project manager. I do recall that. I don't remember specifically what happened. I know it is a bit of a crapshoot at times about when you're going to get the bearing capacity you need when you start putting piles into the ground. We have a good sense based on the geotechnical report and the type of soils that are down there, but until you put the diesel hammer to it and pound those things in there and count how long it takes for that last foot to set, it's
It's a roll of the dice.
it is, but we will be careful.
Let's
with that.
definitely go into that one, assuming we got soft soil.
Right. So, that our budget, and I will send that, but we do have, there's a length of pilings in the construction estimate, of course, and we put a dollar value to that based on our understanding of prices these days and trying to project out a little bit. What that has a 25% contingency in it as well. So hope, we'll get ready for some funding opportunities, maybe congressionally directed spending, that's out there now. So
Sounds good.
we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Anything, Alec? Anything else? Greg? Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. All right, we're down to strategic planning.
All right. With the assistance of Kim in the office, put together a strategic plan presentation for you to criticize or add or subtract to or whatever. My plan is to take this to different boards, including the township, the school board, DDA, and potentially even like Rotary and Lions and things like that to present the findings of the strategic plan. So if we could move ahead, Rhonda. So we, as you all were here, Marilyn Simonic from the Michigan Municipal League facilitated our sessions. She's a retired administrator from several different municipalities. The purpose was to bring together stakeholders from the community to prioritize projects and goals for the future. And if there's anything you feel like I should add or subtract or whatever, just chime in. Any questions along the way, go ahead. Participants, we had stakeholders from council, Thornapple Township, DDA, school board, school, and Parks and Rec in attendance. The day one agenda included opening comments from Alec and myself, from Marilyn, introductions to everybody. We had table discussions, including productive and non-productive behaviors, priorities over the next 12 to 18 months. And then we discussed what is the essence of the Village of Middleville, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And what we came back with for the essence of Middleville, What makes people move here? Great schools, family roots, good, safe community, small town feel, variety, housing, business, activity, friendly people are words that describe the values and essence of the community. What makes businesses move here? We highlighted location to other communities and M37. It's home. People like to live and work here. Good schools, part of the Kent ISD. Skilled trades are available based on Kent ISD. And then what differentiates us from other communities, trails and parks. We talked about that a little bit already today, obviously. Safe, clean, community-centric downtown. And then what gives citizens feeling of belonging would be common interest in culture, community history, and recreation, including rivers and trails. Collection of priorities over the next 12 to 18 months was very interesting to see that most of our priorities really aligned amongst everybody that was there, including housing. EMS millage was the top priority from the township. Parks and recreation, including maintenance of current parks and future expansion potentially. Information technology, increasing broadband, really countywide and especially in the village and the surrounding areas. Master plan updates. I've been working with Doug already to look at adding that to our budget for next year because it seemed like a really high priority that came out of the meetings. Small business support, infrastructure, roads, water, sewer. We talk about that ad nauseum, it seems like, but it really is a main priority of the village. Trail expansion and or maintenance, safety, including traffic and things like that. Community outreach, working with our neighbors, athletic park management, and things like that. Threats and challenges included the expansion of M37 south from Caledonia, our aging infrastructure, and it says dam on there, but that would also include water and sewer infrastructure, pressure on emergency services, increase in homelessness, stuck in the mud, past thinking about growth and things like that, inaction, gentrification, disaster management, and lack of employment opportunities. Opportunities would include upgrades to amenities, parks, community center, et cetera, potentially a library, walkability in the outlying areas, public engagement, satellite sheriff office. That was kind of a one outlier. I think we have that already, but I guess maybe expanding that or enhancing it, I guess maybe was the thought there. Increase the mixed use development, community involvement, and social support services. Anything with that? Okay. And then day 2, we focused on determining our priorities and projections for moving forward. And considering, as we focused on that, we wanted to consider essential, desirable, acceptable, and desirable outcomes. And the key result areas in the order with which they fell would be infrastructure, so roads, water, sewer, tower, bridges. 17 individual people made that their top priority, or at least. So how we did this was, and I'm kind of talking, you were there obviously, but I want to talk like to everybody else that wasn't there. So everybody had 6 stickers, and they were all numbered 1 through 6. 6 meaning the highest priority, and 1 being the lowest of the 6. So 17 individual people put stickers either 1 through 6, and they came out totaling 87 points for that infrastructure priority. And then for housing, it came out 19 people with 78. And public safety, maintain public safe communities, 15 to 60 with 65. And parks and rec, 10 with 35, and economic development, 9 with 26. And next steps that came out of it, settle on an official village logo, which is coming up at a meeting soon. Update the master plan, which we plan on including in our budget for next year. Recertify the RRC, which is redevelopment ready communities. We're moving very fast towards that and taking a lot of steps towards that. I should say we, I mean, Mr. Powers. Continue invigorating downtown business district, and this could look a lot of different ways. We've been talking a lot of different options with that. And then build a strategic plan, this strategic plan into our annual budget and capital improvement plan. So any questions or feedback?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. We are down to public comment. Anybody like to speak? Mr. Powers?
Good evening, council. So in regards to the comments that were made at the previous meeting, I know that we had stated that 115 High Street, the site plans were going to the Plan Commission tonight. However, we had not received site plans and there were no action items for the Plan Commission. So tonight's meeting has been canceled.
Anybody else? All right. Final council comments? Anybody like to start? Okay.
I have nothing.
Oh, that makes it easy. Kevin?
Two things. One, I'm very excited about this strategic plan and narrowing our bandwidth on what we agreed upon during that meeting. I think that was one of the rare occasions that we've had in the last 4 years that we all came together and agreed on what I think generally is the consensus in our community, and to focus on those items. I think the ones that were listed that had the number of points, I mean, it was a handful of items, but it's not shocking how aligned all of us are, township, village, the EMS. I think everybody really wanted all of the exact same things, and it was really nice to get that confirmation during that meeting. That was probably some of the best time spent on my tenure as being on village council, is to just hear what we're aiming for collectively. Whether we're taking action on that or not is another discussion, but it's nice to see that we all agreed to aim in the same direction. So that strategic plan is going to be something very useful, I think, especially for the next council to execute on some of those items for sure. The other the other thing is that I think, and I've brought it up, I think Mr. Kramer's brought it up several times, and that is we've really got to, I think part and parcel to a strategic plan like this is for us to act collectively as a governing body, whether that's working hand in hand with the DDA. I think in whatever format that the DDA lives, I think it's essential that we have that component put in place and spend a lot of calories on how we can make that most effective for our community. Because they're an essential part of that process. It's also part of holding ourselves accountable for the community to do things that are important to the community and act on that. And something that I feel we've done a lot of administrative stuff, and that stuff isn't pretty, but we've done a lot of underlying administrative issues. We've also taken care of what is part of our charter with roads and sewer. We've been doing that for some time, and I think it's nice to see those things roll out. And those are the visible items that come across our desk. But I think aiming for a collective goal, I think our community has grown so wonderfully. We have such great resources with our parks. We have a great EMS department. We have a great sheriff's department. And all of those things are growing because we're spending a little bit of time and probably could spend more time in those areas to continue to build a better community for everybody. So I'm excited to see this plan in action, and certainly it's a nice bulleted list to where we can get a visual on where we should be spending a lot of the time that we're spending here. So it was a good meeting. I'm glad that we spent the time, and thank everybody that was participating in that.
Good.
Yeah. The last couple, 3 nights, I've been walking around 4 streets approximately, getting signatures on my ballot petition. But everybody wants to talk at that point to you. They gave kudos on downtown events. Each individual wanted to know why our taxes were so high. I said to ask Eric Kramer of the township.
It's not his fault the assessor works out of his office.
Everybody was still interested in what's going on with the Middleville and the Baby Bliss, where that demolition is going to be complete or not, what's going to go on. I explained to them that it's the property's up for sale to be developed, so on and so forth. But they all seem like we've got this sore thumb sticking up, and they want to know if it's going to go up, down, be improved, or what, you know. And then the one thing each one of them spoke about was the article in the paper last Saturday. And they wanted to know what was going on with that. And I explained it best I could. So that was kind of the crux of my conversation with 6-8 families probably. I would still say that as far as the downtown events and that type of stuff, you would think, living as close as I do to downtown, that if we have neighbors that still don't know the schedule or anything, they hear the music and they're like, oh, there must be something at the riverbank tonight. You know, I don't know how to make that any better. Yeah.
So before Catherine Sard left, she made these refrigerator magnets with a QR code on them that were supposed to take you to the events no matter what year it was. I don't know if those still exist, but I would grab a handful.
I don't know that she did those.
I have one. It's in the back of my
We
van.
need some here to link us to our website, but I don't remember any linking you to.
I think I went to the calendar.
I know she made some.
To the calendar on the village website.
Right.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
I think that's the same thing. It took because the events were posted on the calendar.
Yeah.
Some of them. But we should probably revisit that and see if we can make that happen again.
Because it is published a lot of places.
Yeah.
I know,
So,
and
it
I tried to explain
Yep.
where they were. Just as curious that,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
these are young people to me too, so they should know all the www stuff.
No.
All that type of thing, but
Now it's catered for us older people. You can just point your phone at it. It takes you right there.
that's it. That's what I have for comments.
Mr. Bishop?
I don't know what it says about me, but I had a very different experience getting signatures. They just signed my thing, sent me on my way.
That's because you look like a terrorist.
Well, that could be.
Right out of the gate, hi.
Whereas me, I'm a poster child.
Good times.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right. Well, I got a bunch of fun stuff sent to me today about some stuff that's going on social media. I would just encourage anybody running for this seat that is not something that's not common. You will get that a lot. So to all my opponents, I would wish you the best of luck, and I would encourage you to develop a thick skin, because no matter what decision you make sitting here, no one's going to be happy with you. all the time. And as long as you stick to what you know is right and dig your heels in, regardless of what that looks like sometimes, people will support you. So best of luck to everybody. That being said, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. A motion will be in order.
Can I make one public announcement?
Oh, I forgot staff. My
Sorry.
bad.
So we've, as we alluded to earlier, had a mishap with our server, which means
It's
unfortunately
under warranty, Kevin, I promise.
it is under warranty. At the moment, we are not able to take tax payments. If you don't know what your taxes already are, we can take them by cash or check if you have your bill, but we can't look up any tax information. Nor can we look up any water bill information until hopefully early next week. And what's that? Yeah, water bills will be a little bit late going out. And then also, as long as we get all of our stuff and our packets ready for tomorrow for next week, we're probably going to close the office at noon tomorrow and be closed from noon tomorrow till Monday. That's it.
They'll have time to fix that computer.
They will. It's kind of the, yes.
Provided it was in the cloud originally.
Rhonda, Alec, Doug, anything to add?
I think I'm okay today.
Okay. I will circle back to thank you for your time and thank you for your patience. A motion would be in order.
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All right, we have a motion with support to adjourn. Any further discussion before we vote? I don't know if you were aware of this, Mr. Reporter, but generally speaking, you have a unofficial vote in adjourning.
Just talk to Greg. He'll explain it.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah.